Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the energy and the numerology for April 2021. First, I'll break down the numerology for April, and then I will dive into the energy forecast for your particular life path number. These are general readings. If you're interested in a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. Okay, so April 2021 is a 9 universal cycle. We haven't had one of these cycles in a while, so it's going to definitely be something we've been looking forward to, I think. We'll definitely be reaping some of the rewards that this energy can bring in. So 9 energy can bring about the closure or ending of a significant cycle within your life. So if there's an area within your life where you can feel things coming to a close, this may occur for you in April. Oftentimes, when this 9 energy comes around, we usually see endings or closure or things coming to fruition around things that we've been working on for quite some time. It can be around a relationship. It can be around maybe some kind of health concern that you've had or something that you've kind of been working on to do with your body or the way you present yourself. It can have to do with work projects, creative projects. I mean, really just anything that again, is just something you've been working on for quite some time or been dealing with for some time, or it's been, again, kind of coming up for quite some time. This can be coming to an end, to some kind of closure or fruition where you'll see things tying up very nicely. Sometimes they can end a little bit chaotically, a little bit abruptly. So it's not always necessarily tied up with a lovely bow, but a lot of times it is. It's something that we've been putting in a lot of effort in towards, we've been showing up for. It's something that's been on our plate to handle or deal with or overcome. And it's kind of like the universe is like, well done. It's kind of like graduating in a sense, where the universe is like, well done. You've done the work. Now here's the reward, and it's time for this to complete or come to closure. So oftentimes this closure, whatever it is, creates this beautiful space for a grand new beginning. And I want to make sure that you understood I said grand, including a brand new beginning, but a grand new beginning. This is creating the space for something big, something divinely timed. It's that cosmic, okay? So you may see gifts or rewards come your way at the closure of this cycle, whatever that is for you, because of the work and the growth that you've dedicated yourself to. Be open to receiving these much deserved gifts. You are worthy. And a lot of times it can be where that closure takes place, and it might feel like a loss or something that we need to grieve. And that's okay, because a lot of times, like I said, these are things that we've been energetically invested in. We've invested resources and time and whatever. We've just really been invested in whatever this is. And so when that comes to a close, sometimes there can be grief associated with that. And of course, we want to honor that. And we might not be able to fully recognize or see those gifts as they present themselves, but that's okay. The gifts will still come. And when we are ready, we'll be able to see them and then put them to use. So if you've put in the work, you've put in the effort, you've continued to show up, you've done, you've exhausted everything that you need to exhaust around whatever this life lesson is, around whatever this growth or expansion opportunity is, you will see some kind of reward from the universe. You will see some kind of gift come in. Even if you don't recognize it right away, you will be able to recognize it in hindsight, and then you'll be able to use that gift in your forward movement, in your propelling you forward in a beautiful way. So again, this energy is allowing things to tie up and close so that it can create that grand space for a beautiful new beginning. And with that ending will come those rewards, okay? 9 energy is that of the humanitarian. So during this time, during this cycle, you may feel called to find ways where you can be of greater service to those in need and how you can dedicate your efforts towards creating a better world to live in. This is beautiful energy and a great time to ask yourself whether your actions, your current actions, contribute to the harmony, balance, and good of all. Or do your actions focus more on the needs and the desires of only those whom you deem worthy? The energy of the 9 is vast, okay? It's expansive. It's without limits. So allow it to permeate your way of thinking to become much more open-minded, generous, and idealistic as opposed to being more cynical. Do something for another during this time in a state of gratitude for the blessings that you have received throughout your life. This is a great cycle to pay it forward, to, purchase the coffee for someone behind you in line, or the meal for somebody across the restaurant, whatever, or pay somebody's bill, or whatever the case may be, whatever speaks to you. But this is beautiful, beautiful energy of paying it forward, of creating that beautiful karma, or paying off those karmic debts. 9 cycles can be great for opening up to deeper innate gifts, including psychic abilities, intuitiveness, and vivid dream space. So this is going to be a time where you really want to pay close attention to your dreamscapes, to whatever comes in for you during dream time, during daydreams and night dreams. That's going to be the case always, but it is especially going to be true throughout April. So pay attention to those dreams that come in, write them down, try to work with them the best that you can. I do offer Dreamwork, so if that's something that you're interested in exploring further, I would love to work with you to pull those beautiful messages that are trying to come through for you so that you can work with them as you create this new beginning. During this cycle, creative powers, during this 9 vibration can be used to develop your artistic abilities that can be put to great use in the upcoming 1 cycle. So pay attention to any of those inspirations that come into you. They can, again, come in through dreams. They can come in through somebody saying something to you, or maybe you get a thought or an idea that comes in. This is a great time to get messy and play and be creative. And, you don't necessarily need to start whatever this new idea is, whatever this new goal is. This is going to be, again, a time for playing around and figuring out how you want to start that process. Because really, this is going to be the time or the energy around closure, completion, endings, things coming to fruition so that you can create that space for those grand new beginnings. And those new beginnings, a beautiful time to start those new beginnings is during a 1 cycle, which will be in May. So this is going to be a time for, really fostering that growth of those creative ideas, your creative talents, exploring your creative talents, see what speaks to you, what brings out your passion, and use that energy to sort of become the expert or to perfect some of those skills, right? Or to really flex that muscle so that when that 1 cycle comes in, that energy around that universal 1, when that comes in May, you're ready to hit the ground running, okay? You're ready for those big new adventures, those big new starts, okay? So beautiful, beautiful energy in April. Definitely, again, pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to those things that are ending. And if you need to grieve that ending, then do so. Understand, though, that you, in allowing these endings to take place or to make space from these endings, you're creating an opportunity for something much more aligned, much more fruitful and bountiful to come your way. So it's really, really positive. It's really fantastic energy to work with. I'm really excited for April. Okay, life path number 3. So I pulled an animal spirit card for you all to see what the overall energy for the month might be for you, and you all got cat spirit. And so cat says, it's time to strike out on your own and relinquish your overdependency on others. And so really what I'm feeling here is if there is, a relationship where you may be overly dependent on that person, or that person may have an unhealthy level of control over you or the situation, then obviously it's time to, step into your own, and it may be time for that relationship to come to an end, or at least for some conversations to be had where you can regain your power and at least find your equilibrium. If this is around like work, it may be that you work for somebody that really your creative self-expression is stifled, and you're not really able to express yourself in the way or to the magnitude of how you want to be able to express yourself. And with that 3 energy that is your life path, you are meant to, in this lifetime, creatively, express yourself in a way that shows your individuality, that really highlights your individuality. So if you're working for someone or for a company that really stifles that, then you may really feel that tension at this time where you need to make some kind of a change. There's this level of independence with 3 energy anyway, where you're good at collaborating with others, but you need to be able to express yourself creatively in an authentic and individual way. So if any of that is being stifled by another person, by a corporation, by the patriarchy, no, but by, society, whatever the case may be, then this is going to be a time where I think you're going to start feeling those growing pains, feeling that sort of like the need to break free in some way. And it doesn't have to be like you uproot and change everything. It just means that this is going to be a time, I think, for you to really start playing with your own individuality, your own autonomy, and really figuring out what that looks like for you. So interesting energy there. And I think that, if you just Google, if you don't have a cat of your own, because they are some great teachers. Let me tell you, if you don't have a cat of your own, then I would just Google cats. It can be, big cats, domestic cats, whatever the case may be. Just watch their behavior. Cats are very loving, very, very loyal in a sense, but they're also very individual, right? They're very individualistic. So they're not going to take any shit from anyone. They're going to show up in a way that is supportive, but you don't cross that line, and they make that very known. And so I think that they're just, Spirit is just asking you to tap into your own feline energy, and really don't be afraid to, set your healthy boundaries, stand firm behind those boundaries, and express yourself in a way that feels good for you. So I think you're going to have opportunities this month to really do that, and to not feel shame around that. And to not face as many challenges around that, or at least if you do face challenges around it, to be able to overcome those challenges in a way that feels good for you. So I love seeing cat spirit come up for 3s. You guys are, like I said, you're definitely meant to express yourself creatively in this lifetime. So embracing cat spirit will allow you to, or help you to do that. So I broke April down into 4 weeks. And the first week, it's interesting, we have this energy around home coming in. And home can be, that structure that we live in, our own little personal castle. Or it can also be, and it can also be our physical body. So where our soul lives, our soul's home. So that's coming in really, really strongly at this time. And this can be around making changes, like This is a very positive energy. So it's like making positive changes around your home. This could be where, again, you're stepping into your individuality and maybe you want more independence. Maybe you've been in a relationship that wasn't working and you've just been staying in it because it's comfortable, like a worn out pair of slippers, and you've been afraid to give them up. But maybe you're really craving that independence. And so it's being in this 9 universal cycle, you may decide and fully and know that it's time to regain your independence. And maybe you end up moving out and doing, living on your own for a while and experiencing that lifestyle. It could be as simple as doing some redecorating to your house. If it has to do with your physical body, maybe you're making some physical improvements to your body. Maybe you're getting a treatment. Maybe you're doing maybe you're having some kind of surgery to fix something that has broken or, is not working or whatever the case may be. But anyway, so home is coming in really strongly, and it's really about sort of beautifying your home not necessarily to meet somebody else's standards, but to get your home in a place that feels really good for you. And this is really supported. I really feel like this, almost like this Venusian energy of love and joy and happiness. And it can be that you're currently in a situation that doesn't reflect those energies, but this energy, this 9 cycle, I think, is going to be a time for you to shift into something that does, okay? Or at least start that process. And you have the green light all the way here. So this is a great month to at least start that process if you haven't already, or to just understand what that is that needs that change. Or it could just be about celebrating in your home. Maybe you get engaged, maybe you're getting married. There's obviously a million different things that it could be, but the home is really accentuated at this time. And again, that can also be your physical body. So pay attention to anything that comes up around there, any changes that you want to make, anything worth celebrating. It is very supported at this time. Then we move into the second week, and I'm feeling like there's some kind of major decision that needs to be made here. This is definitely something like comes in like a lightning bolt. So it's something where it's like you could get some kind of communication that feels very firm, that feels very like this is how it's going to be and there's nothing we can really do about it, so we need to make adjustments accordingly type thing. It just feels very set in stone, let's say that. So something kind of comes in, maybe it's some clarity. It's kind of like clarity comes in and it's like once you know, you can't unknow it type thing. So it's like once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. It's kind of like that, like this kind of energy where it's like something becomes very, very clear. And from that clarity, there's some kind of decision that you need to make. And as always, the call is to go within, to follow your intuition, to follow that inner knowing when it comes to making that final say, when it comes to making that final decision, because you will be guided. Your soul knows the way, your soul knows where it wants to go. We just need to listen because we are the vehicle for our own soul, right? Our body is the vehicle for our soul. So just, pay attention to your intentions this month and see if those intentions match your actions, because I think that's going to be important as this clarity comes in for you. Okay, so then we move into the third week, and it's interesting because I'm really seeing like this, some kind of, it doesn't necessarily have to be conflict. I feel like there's maybe some rumblings or some discord in a relationship. And what's really standing out is for you to pay close attention to the stories that you're creating within your own mind around this relationship or around this person. Because a lot of times we can pull from our past hurts or our past traumas and project that onto another person, and then it creates a story that is not reality. And what we end up doing is we end up creating this picture or painting this picture of this person or the circumstances that we start believing, and we really end up sabotaging something that could be really healthy and beautiful because we haven't worked through our past shit. And so it's kind of like this, the message this week is pay attention to where the difference between something that's really actually happening, okay, and the stories that you are creating around the circumstance or around the person. Because when we create those projections, when we create those stories onto that person, we are really being unfair to that person because we are putting the burden of somebody else's wrongdoings onto that person. And when in reality, we need to allow that new person or whoever it is to show us who they are and what they're bringing to the table and all of those things. So I think that if you are caught up in the stories around this person or this relationship at this time, this is going to be a call to get that in check, to sort of nip that in the bud, so to speak, because you could be sabotaging something that has the potential to be really beautiful by, again, sort of vilifying that person or the relationship when it doesn't need to be that way. Okay, if that makes sense. So I'm really getting that. And it could be that for some of you, it's a relationship that's just not healthy and it does need to end. That can always be the case. But I'm really getting this sense of like, just pay attention to the reality of what's actually happening, of what that person is actually shown you, that who they are, and the stories that you're creating around that person. And then the action that you're taking, is the action you're taking based off the reality of what's happening, or is it based off of the projections and the stories that you've told yourself around this person or this experience, if that makes sense? But I'm really getting like, if there's trouble in paradise, start with the stories that you're telling yourself or what you may be projecting about this person. And that also goes for what that person may be projecting onto you. So if you're getting this constant conflict from another person, or when people meet us and they just instinctively don't like us immediately, and come to find out it's because maybe they knew somebody who looked like us and had a bad experience. And so again, they're projecting that onto us and not really giving us a fair shot. So you may be in that seat where someone is projecting onto you and creating a toxic environment that really doesn't need to be there. And it could just be about you having a conversation with that person to say, I feel like I've been really misjudged here and you're not seeing me for who I am. I feel like you're projecting upon me. Let's have a conversation about it so that we can show up in a more healthy fashion. So again, it doesn't necessarily have to be just you creating the stories. It could be somebody else doing that. And there's an opportunity here for healing, for like nipping that in the bud so that you guys can come back to what's actually happening and then take your lead from there. And then we move into the fourth week, and it's interesting. I'm really getting this call for like balance. It's kind of the little story that they're showing me, or the blip, is that like find time for stillness, or the universe will create the stillness for you type thing. I think it's more like make time for health, or you'll have to make time for illness type thing. One of those. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but that's exactly the energy I'm seeing here. It's like if you're pushing yourself too hard at this time, or there's something that's coming up for you that doesn't feel good or doesn't feel right, this is a time to kind of get that checked out, or to clear your schedule a little bit. Give yourself time for that self-soothing, that self-nurturing. Find your balance, like really start to temper your schedule, your experience, so that you can create a more balanced system, I guess. Because I'm really getting this energy like if you just keep going at the rate that you're going at, or you keep pushing yourself, or keep striving without that opportunity to embrace the lull, then the universe is going to create a lull for you. And it feels a little bit abrupt. So it's kind of like, where this is at. Like what I mean by that is, if this message is for you, then you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Like if you're like, okay, I've been working 80 hours a week and I'm feeling really run down, and really stressed out, if you don't find a way to curb that, to give your body, your energy, your soul some respite, the universe will find a way to do that for you. And you're not always going to like the method that the universe chooses, right? And so I always say, like, it's best to do it sort of by invitation. And I feel like you're going to be getting the invitation at this time if this message is for you. But it's really just the message for everyone is make sure you're tempering your journey, make sure you're finding your balance and not falling to an extreme, because it's those extremes where we end up in a tower-like moment where we're being sort of rerouted, redirected, or the brakes get put on pretty quickly to pull us back into balance and to pull us back on the journey that we're meant to be on. So if there's anywhere within your life right now where you feel like you've fallen into an extreme, this is really the call to shift your focus and make some adjustments there so that you can find your balance before you're sort of forced into finding your balance type thing, because you're worthy of that. You deserve that. You know, it's like, it's great to be driven and, you know, dedicated and all those things. But if you're doing that 24/7, that's an extreme. So we are meant to incorporate the stillness as well. So if you're not doing that, find a way to do that, because you need to find your balance at this time. Okay? All right. I hope that April is a beautiful month for you all. Take care, everyone. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.